Welcome back, everyone, to Karmic Justice Court TV. It is I again, Tahirah, Mother of the Ages, and I am bringing to you another universal court case. Today, we are going to see the plaintiff, Ashlee Janae, which her real last name is Robinson. So, Ashlee Robinson. The universe has picked this up on her behalf. She's the one that passed away in Tanzania, in Zanzibar, and the whole world and the internet is trying to figure out what happened to Ashlee Janae. And today we're going to bring up and allow Joe McCann, which was her fiance, to go ahead and present his defense to the court. I'm going to ask them all to go ahead and swear in right here on the Cosmic Bible, the Great Expansion here. Karmic Justice Court TV is now in session. So the first thing I want to do is ground into the energies, and I'm going to ask both the defendant and the plaintiff to present some adjectives to the court. We got sublime, and this is coming from Joe. Crickets. Coming from Joe. Silence. Coming from Joe. Give me the T word again, Joe. It's torment. He didn't want to say it. And one more adjective, Joe. Something about the shoes. If the shoe fits, wear it. Okay, we got the adjectives for the defense is in. I think let's go ahead and hear from the defense since his energy is present in this moment. What do you want to say, Joe, about sublime, about crickets, about silence, torment, and if the shoe fits? What would you like to say? I'm going to go ahead and look at the automatic drawing that Joe has submitted to the courts here. Okay. I'm going to allow Mr. McCann to go ahead and speak, and I will deliver for Mr. McCann here. And I have to ask you again, Joe, do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I'm going to ask him one more time. Joe McCann, do you promise to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? This one here is a fast talker. He's not really saying a yes or no. He's just kind of offering some gibberish. Let's ground into your automatic drawing, Joe. What would you like to say to the courts in your defense? I hid well. I hid in the heart. I played games with the heart. I severed the heart. I divided the heart. I hid and I dropped morsels, nuggets, hints that it's almost like he was playing mind control or mind combat with her to prime her for his energetic takeover. Lots of things that he put in her field, down to how she dressed, how she presented herself, when they were together versus how she presented herself when they were apart. He created some sort of tug of war of maybe not wanting her to wear certain things in certain spaces when they were apart, or even questioning certain outfits, even though he knows that this is how he prefers for her to look. But he just wanted to create some doubt, so that she would constantly be thinking about him when she was away at work or on business. So he created lots and lots of doubt, often having to do with her appearance. Not that he was trying to create a low self-esteem, but that it was just enough to get inside of her psyche. He wanted inside of her psyche. And yes, he believed he has succeeded about that. Joe, tell me about the torment. Tell me about the torment that you were hesitant to tell the courts. Tell me about the torment. How did you torment her? About her looks, about her hair, about her skin. On one end, I would praise it, but on the other end, I would make a sly comment to make it feel like it wasn't coming from me, but from society. I need you to steady your energy, Joe. You're all over the place. This man appears to have ADHD. He can't hold like his energy calm. He seems to have ADHD. Okay, tell me a little bit more about the heart. It was a fool's game. It was a fool's game, I admit it. She should have never let me into her heart, because all I did was destroy it. I see two energies in her heart. One appears not to be human. It almost looks like animal. I'm not sure if Ashlee loved animals or not, but one appears to be animal and one appears to be kind of like a angry man, or just very stoic sort of man. And then underneath that, there's like an image of a woman. Or it could be, I don't know if it looks like a woman. It could be a woman being in fear. Being in fear, but her fear being covered up. Her fear was covered up. I think Ashlee was afraid of him, but I think she covered it up. Let me sit with the rest of the adjectives that Joe presented to the court here. Let's take a look at some of these here. I want to know what you mean by sublime. So sublime describes something inspiringly, grand, excellent, noble, often evoking deep admiration or a sense of immense beauty. So I take it that this is how he felt about Ashlee. It signifies an elevated, heavenly, or transcendent quality used to describe art, nature, experiences. It represents the pentacle of quality from the sublime to the ridiculous. Okay, so that's the definition. And here's an example here. She possessed sublime self-confidence. So I believe this is how Joe looked at Ashlee Janae, or Ashlee Robinson, as sublime, excellent, grand, deep admiration, and immense beauty. Thank you, Joe. I want to take a look at the other adjective here that you presented. Crickets. Crickets is absolute silence, awkwardness, a total lack of response. This is Joe's energy. There is crickets coming from him. I'm not sure if his lawyer, and I'm getting an itchy in my throat, told him not to speak. This is what I'm getting. His lawyers told him not to speak, but he is being completely silent. It's almost awkward silence, because if you're saying you had nothing to do with it, but at the same time, you're not crying, there's no press release, you're not helping. Her parents have to do a GoFundMe, for her services and to move the body back to the States. He has crickets, total lack of response, which is making him look more guilty, but he was advised by his lawyers to have this cricket energy. And also, too, I just said crooked. So he's also crooked as well. I don't believe that Joe is who he says that he is in terms of being this crypto multimillionaire. He received his funds because he is crooked. Okay, thank you, source. He is crooked. He is a scam. And this was, in one of my other readings on a different channel. It came out that this was an absolute scam romance. Ashlee was being scammed. She wanted love, but she wanted a love that would wow people. She wanted a love that kind of looked this way. The rich, successful, older white man with a young, beautiful, black, woman, both successful in their own right, but him being more successful. She wanted a love that was showy, but at the root of it, she still wanted love in the heart. But what I find here in the automatic drawing is she never did get that love in the heart, but she got division of the heart, and she got manipulation of the heart, right? Her heart assets, I'm hearing, fruits of the spirit, those things were taken and muted and turned against her. And she was screaming silently. I think this trip, she was going through a lot in her mind. And I think this trip was going to decide if she was going to completely stay in this relationship or venture off into exploring other avenues. Maybe still holding on to Joe in some regards, but she was going to start to move around a little bit more. And I think that's why he did the proposal. I think he knew this. And I think a lot of the mental gymnastics and the games that he was playing with her, I think he knew that he would drive her to this point. So when he finally offered up to her the ring, she would be sold completely. Do you catch it? When she received that ring, I don't know if she had a ring or she received the offer for marriage, she was sold. The moment she agreed to that, she was spiritually sold. So I think this gave Joe, or the energies that Joe is working with, the energies, entities, different gods or deities that he's working with on an energetic scale, the go-ahead for this particular plan. She was bonded into his energy field, and his energy field is slimy. It's, very low level, like will do anything for any strange thing for a bit of change. Doesn't matter what it is. That is who she got involved with, and she ended up selling her soul, when she accepted the love offer. Okay, so this is what the energy. I want to see what the silence is about, Joe. because I was getting a mixed energy. I didn't know if this was coming from you or coming from Ashlee or coming from the both of you. It's coming from the both of them. It has both energies on it. So I just want to look at that definition really quickly. Silence, the complete absence of sound, noise, speech, representing a state of stillness or quiet. This is him, but this is in regards to Miss Ashlee Robinson. She was silenced. So when we talk about here, the throat, how they said that she hung herself, we know that's not true. I got that she was suicided, meaning she was framed to look like she took her own life, but she did not. But this silence really describes what she experienced in those final moments of the breath being taken away from her. And this stillness or quiet was actually the death that she would experience. And Ashlee is taking me inside of this death experience now. And I'd like to go ahead and explore that really quickly. If you would be so kind, Miss Robinson, to explain to me a little bit more about this silence that you experience. She shows me like Hangman. You know the game Hangman? It was a game. She was Hangman. Hunted. She was prey. Which makes it very sick, the sublime energy, right? That he had spoken very highly of her. Excellent, right? This immense beauty that she had. But he was hunting that. It was a game to capture that. It wasn't about the soul and the heart of Ashlee, but it was about capturing the essence of what she represented. Like being the genie in the bottle. If he could have taken her essence and bottled it up and sold it for profit, let's not mistake that maybe this was also part of the plan, to be a genie in the bottle, a beautiful item or a beautiful energy that he can have at his disposal anytime. She says this was a game. She's given the example of Hangman. I'm actually really curious to see the official rules of Hangman. Okay, so the official rules of Hangman, it's a 2-player word guessing game where one player thinks of a word and draws blanks for each letter. Okay. Draws blanks for each letters, and the other one guessing. Incorrect guesses add parts to the stick figure, usually the head, the body, the 2 arms, and the leg. The guesser wins by filling in the correct word. The creator wins if the figure is complete. So the person who's guessing, if they get it incorrect, then the other person can start to draw their little, their little man. I'm just wondering who was who in this game. Because we know that Ashlee didn't win. So this is like that mental gymnastics, right? He was very good at mind control and like mind warfare, really. He was always playing this game with her, these little riddles that she would have to solve. I think she was in a game and she didn't realize that she was losing. I think not only was Joe playing this game with her, but he was probably playing this game with someone who understood what the outcome would be. And those people or persons are stateside. This thing was an international scam. It wasn't just the people. There's up to 4 people who took part in this in Tanzania, but there's some people abroad as well. And one of those persons is a woman as well. There's another man too, but there's a woman involved as well. She had no idea the things that she would say were being put on a scoreboard. And whatever incident or argument that silenced her completely, that made her pass away, she had completely lost the game. The one-sided game. Even though it's supposed to be for 2 players, she didn't know that she was in a game. And so she was in this game unknowingly, and she was also in this love game by herself. So this was a completely selfish man. And the only reason why he was with Ashlee is because how she made him feel, because of how she made him look. He felt bigger, larger, more in control, more dominant. And she was silenced completely, forever, because of this game that she didn't know how to play, because she didn't know that she was in. She just knew he played games. Like I could hear her saying, Joe, you play too much, you play too much, you play too much, you play too much. Ladies, if you ever get involved with a man who plays too much, leave him, because he's playing you. Any man who loves you will want you to feel secure mentally, will not cause you mental anguish. So the silence. I want Ashlee to take me through. She's drawing the attention to her head. You know, Ashlee could have been hit in her head. Where the silence began. There's a lot here. And on the left side of her head, she could have been hit in her head. What do you want to tell me about how you were silenced, Ashlee? She gives me the number 3. Points out the head, the heart, and the feet. The head, the heart, and the feet. There's something very interesting about the head or the mental capacity. It's going in and out. It feels faint. There was some trauma to the head. So I know what they were saying, that she hung herself. In an earlier reading, yes, I got a lot of trauma here. I actually got a cut from here to here. Now, could that cut be from strangulation? Yeah, it could be a cut of the air supply. It could also be a physical cut. It could be something tied around her neck that was so forceful that it cut, that it actually created an a mark, you know, a scar. But now she's drawn my attention to her head. She was hit in the head. She almost became delirious. She may have even saw stars. She was hit in the head, and she couldn't get her bearings at a point during the fight. and as she was hit in the head, then, she was more easily able to be, to take down. She says I didn't do anything wrong. The things that he accused me of were his own sickness and illness. She says he has an illness within his mind. He has an illness and he has a mother wound. And he would often, put that off on her, that she would be like his mother, or would accuse her of things that his mother did. So he had a major mother wound, and which is another reason of what attracted, him to Ashlee, was his mother wound. I think he was seeking to be nurtured, but he didn't have any chill. He has this ADHD sort of energy where he would not allow himself to be nurtured in a pure way, because he felt that every bit of love should come with a lie, should come with, give me this and I'll give you two back. These are the things that his mother used to do to him to quiet him down. Or if you do this, if you sit here quietly, then I'll give you this back. A promise of something grander back. And believe it or not, his mother wound and that sort of way of existing is how he learned how to be a con man. He took that point of view throughout everything that he did, throughout all of his business ventures and jobs and everything. Give me one of this, I'll give you two back. That was this promise he was given to Ashlee as well. And she really thought she was going to get the marriage, but the marriage entered her into the contract. So you give me marriage, I'll give you this back. But she didn't know that back was death. It was the stealing of her consciousness, robbing her of her life and her everything she was going to grow into. He siphoned all of that potentiality from her. It was just a massive siphon fest. It was a scam romance. It's a scam romance. And so I find it interesting that her brain becomes a little scrambled very early on with whatever blows to the head. Because Joe was already scrambled in the head, She said, I could have never fixed him. I could have never been the woman that he truly needed. Irrevocably broken. That's what I heard. I don't even know all the way what that means. Let me figure that out. Irrevocably. In a way that cannot be changed, reversed, or undone. He was irrevocably broken. This is what Ashlee Robinson. I feel like the problem with Ashlee, we get into her names in a moment. I feel like the name was a major problem of not going by her true birth name. I think it caused a lot of unnecessary men to be attracted to her, adding the Ashlee Janae. It's a total name of a victim, of a trophy wife, of someone who is to be seen but not necessarily respected. That's the energy coming from that name. Someone to be used for the pleasure of men, for the body and what she can offer, with getting very little respect back. That's the energy of Ashlee Janae. So, irrevocably broken. Joe is irrevocably broken in her eyes. There is no changing him. cannot be undone or reversed. This is very deep because I believe that every person can change. What we may be looking at with Joe is Joe an actual person? Is Joe real? Is he more than a con man? We may have to visit this in a different video. Right now, it appears that he is a real man, but where does his energy go back to? Right? I would be curious to find that out in a later video. So we know that she was disoriented. She was hit in the head, possibly punched, possibly hit with something. And she draws the attention to the heart as well. My heart was too open. I did not protect it. It was a free for all. Take this, take my car keys, take my money, oh, you need this? You need access to this? Here, take it, take my contacts, take. Because on some level, somewhere deep within the subconscious, even though she was beautiful, even though he viewed her as sublime, she had an early childhood scarring that told her that maybe she wasn't because of how she looked, or, her hair or her body or her skin or her whatever, whatever mean things that kids do at that age. So the overgiving was one of her ways. I think that she felt that she would be accepted. But this is actually what made you a target, my dear. You gave too much. You let him into like your Rolodex too early and too soon. And you gave too much. When someone creates a business, it takes a lot. It takes an act of God and the universe to be in alignment to actually get everything organized, get it set up, get it out to market, and to keep the doors open with a steady flow of clients. It takes everything you got and then some. That is for you. So when you get to that level, you have to know that it is only the universe, that God, that source has brought you there, because there's so many moving pieces that have to come together all at once to make it work. You have to guard that. You can't just, everything that had to be aligned through prayer, through source, through energy, through practice and dedication, to now offer all of that up to someone who has not put the work in. It's kind of like, it goes against universal law. Every man has to work for their food. You can guide someone, you can teach someone, you can help them, but you're not to do the whole thing for them. So this is almost like, source is kind of stepping in and giving a teachable moment to Ashlee and just to humanity in general. That is for me to do, like source is saying, because not everyone deserves to be in a position of power. Certainly not Joe. Not every person deserves that, and not every person's calling is that. And so when we just overgive, essentially we're getting in the way of source, of what source has for that person. And source wants them to seek on their own to create the communication and the relationship. And we get in the way when we do that. So she overstepped. Her insecurities made her overstep her university. Okay. I wanted to say universal. So made her overstep. Something about the university. I'm curious to know. I'm curious to know. Very high-pitched sound in my right ear. So this could be Ashlee's spirit coming in. She went to Texas A&M during her college years. So something happened when she was there. Something happened. Maybe she started overstepping back then. I think Ashlee may have went through another relationship like Joe before while she was in college. Overgiving. And I think something major happened. I think something major happened in that relationship. And this relationship is almost, it's like on a bigger scale, but it's the same problem. Leading from insecurity, even though you don't know it because it's happening on a subconscious level, but you are existing within relationships from a place of insecurity and not a place of sovereignty and power, you know. So even though she wanted love, her heart was not able to truly be receptive to receive the kind of love that doesn't hurt, because it was still wounded from something that happened when she was at Texas A&M. And I think it's a relationship that wounded her, and she also gave too much too soon, and the whole thing blew up. And I think it was also a scam. The person was using her for, you know, whatever it was, you know, back then. Yep. Thank you. And what do you want to tell us about the feet? The feet. She wasn't able to move. So if you look at the hangman game, you know, there's kind of like a hook at the top, and then the feet, you know, it's like a platform to put your foot on at the bottom. She was restricted in her movement of her feet when this incident happened. I don't know if she was cornered in between two pieces of furniture, but her feet were restricted. Could her feet have been tied down? Did she not have shoes on to get away? There's something with the feet of her not being able to move. Not being able to move when this happened. Because I presume she's a fast runner. That's what it looks like to me. And I think she knew if she could run, she could get away. But she was cornered. She was cornered. And this leads me to, was she cornered by more than one person? She was cornered. It's what she clearly states in this moment. And I'm getting a pain above my left eye, like eyebrow here. It's like a throbbing in the eye, in the eyebrow area here. So there was some contusions I'm hearing to the left eye, possibly even some nerves here. And I know in one of my earlier readings, I saw a bunch of blood, right? Now, this could be blood vessels popping. This could be internal bleeding, right? Because we didn't hear any reports about blood, but I'm telling you, I still get blood, but I think there's some blood vessels being popped in the eye, and then some swelling, bruising here. I think maybe there was internal bleeding in the head, because she was clearly hit and disoriented within her frontal lobe, and her feet were cornered. Ashlee, were you cornered by more than one person? Three people. Three people. Three people. Three people. She could have even been tied up, like her shoulders looked to be restricted, like held down, restricted in a way. There's something that happened with one of her fingers, possibly her thumb. possibly even the ring finger. There's a lot of energy coming from there, a lot of pain bodies, a lot of sensory, a lot of energy coming from the finger. I think it was just the big regret of why did I say yes? I think this is what was flashing before her eyes at that moment, was replaying the whole event leading up to it. She was getting the vibe that, oh my God, everything was in fact a scam, a love scam. This was like catfish. He catfished her. He catfished her, and he stole her energy. And he okay, so that answers the questions if the shoe fits, wear it. I don't think she had shoes on and her feet were cornered. I'm just making sure I get everything here. And I remember her signing something. I said he forced her to sign something. So Spirit is saying that when she said yes, she signed her life away. Joe is mixed up in some dark arts, and I'm hearing dark arts. Joe could even go to secret Masonic temples, wear cloaks, and take part in burnings, lynchings, things of that nature. It's kind of what I'm seeing. I say he could, be cloaked up in these black robes. So he had that whole separate thing going on. And who knows who's being sacrificed for what. But it's given very much that he's involved in dark arts, Masonic arts. So yes, he's a Mason as well. And I think he's a Mason that actually gets his hands dirty. Even though these three people she speak of, there's more than him there. And I think that, was he involved in the actual... I see him there because he wants to intimidate. But were other people involved as well in that process of harming? Yes. But there's some people in the Masons who you'll never meet them. You'll never know them. They don't get their hands dirty. But he's still one that very much still likes to be somewhat in the thick of things because of his mother wound and because he is starving for power and control that he feel like he wasn't able to have very early on. So, thank you very much, Miss Ashlee Robinson. And you should start going by your birth-given name. When we start to change our names, it changes the energy. I think we will leave this here. And we will pick up with more details and evidence in a secondary video. Ashlee, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go and let your energy pass. Let me see if there's one more, any other thing that she'd like to say. She says, I am regretful. And she says, I am regretful of this season, which is very interesting. Like this season, like what do you mean by this season? Feels like this spiritual season. Feels like this energy field that humanity's in. She's regretful of this season, that she passed away in this season, where everything is starting to shift. There's a massive shift happening. She didn't want to pass away in this manner, especially not in this season. I think she means this is a very important season for humanity. I think she had a lot more to give, a lot more love to grow into within herself. And so for that, she's regretful, but well and steady, she says. Regretful, but still well and steady. Joe, any last words you'd like to say before we end the session today? I will never be caught. I will never fold. I will always be in control. That's what he's saying. So he's not ready to own up or anything. He's very much still in the silence, in the, in that energy, the haughtiness of it all. I will let both of your energies pass. And Ashlee, I want to ask you a question really quickly before I let you go. I want to ask you about Shanquella Robinson, that also passed away in a villa in Cabo. And there was foul play by her friends that she went on the trip with. I want to ask you, how does your soul resonate with her? How does your soul resonate with her? Kindred spirits. Kindred spirits. Kindred lies. Believe the lies about ourselves. They manipulated us. Both parties, as she calls them, both parties. We were manipulated. There were so many lies that you had to swim to get to the truth. Too many lies and too many people around. Too many prying eyes. What we both had in common is that we were somewhat flashy within our success, not because we felt that we were better, because we were proud of ourselves and we had overcome this generational curse of poverty. We opened ourselves up to expressing it outwardly because we wanted to inspire others, but more importantly, we wanted to experience it, to experience having, to experience living life to the fullest. This was not the norm for our people and for our demographics, and we were young. We wanted to enjoy our success. But we should have been more guarded, more protective, because it is a circus and everyone wants you to perform. Once you put yourself on the stage, you're going to have to perform. And that's why I couldn't walk away from this relationship, because it was on the stage and I had to perform. But I knew that he was not right in the head. So we were kindred spirits. Thank you. There's a lot of heat right now that I'm feeling, a telepathic impression from Ashlee coming from the left side of my throat. There's a lot of heat, so this could just be me feeling the wound of what happened that made her pass away. This could also be someone not wanting her to talk about it, but it feels like I'm feeling into the wound. Okay. And you can heal that, Ashlee, anytime when you are ready to release the lies about yourself and release any part of yourself that you felt caused it or deserved it, because you didn't. And when you're ready to detach from that old self-image of yourself that says, maybe on some level I deserve this, then you will be made well. And you can choose to do that anytime, just by standing in unconditional love, in authenticity, not needing to be anything for anyone, but just being enough for yourself. And so it is. I'm going to allow your energy to pass, Miss Ashlee, Janae, and you as well, Joe. And Ashlee, I send your soul off to its highest divine good. And Karmic Justice Court TV is now adjourned.